Hello, hello, hello. Sorry, I'm running a little bit late. I am actually running into a technical issue with the internal dev client. So, I'm going to have to figure something out here. In the meantime, I'll just have to kind of, I don't know, figure out what I'm going to do, I guess. Alright, copy this over. Hopefully this will work. Anyway, I'm going to get started in just a second. I didn't want to keep you guys all in suspenders as to what's going on. But I'm using a slightly different client. At least I wasn't, but now I am. Now I have to recopy it over. So hopefully it'll take just a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, I can answer your questions. Hello and welcome to Court of the Rings here on twitch.tv/LOTROstream, youtube.com/Lord of the Rings/live, and facebook.com/LOTRO. I am LOTRO's community manager, Cordovan, and I am going to be on Landreval, hopefully, later today, in just a few minutes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's true, a community manager is never late. He simply deals with technical issues. But since it was going to take another 5 minutes or so to copy over the most recent live client build, see, I don't know. I'm a little confused as to why this is actually happening, because I just thought I had a regular live client. But whatever, you don't need my inside baseball here. Coke or Pepsi, I've always been more of a latter, or former rather than a latter on that one. But hey, whatevs. So, let me get to a couple of your questions here. I'm not always late. I might walk into the stream room a few minutes too late every week, but that's the way it goes, right? Anyway, let's see, what else can I get from here? The entire server has crashed again. Is that normal? Oh, right now? Well, that would explain things. Let me call up my email. Anyway, is that normal? No. Are we going to look and fix it? Yes. So we had an issue very briefly last night where the game basically crashed for about 2 minutes. And we believe that was related to an issue at the data center that we are working to resolve, or that we worked yesterday to resolve. But if the game's currently down, like right now... So we'll get it sorted out and figured out. Question about GM hours and all that. That should be listed on the help page. I don't actually know exactly what their hours are off the top of my head, but they are in on Saturdays and Sundays. And they get tickets as soon as they can. We are a little bit on the busy side at the moment, due to really the Aria of the Valar kind of issue that came up post Mordor, and a lot of new accounts looking to get, or returning players really rather looking to get reestablished on their account credentials, that kind of thing. They had something like 12 times their regular number of tickets last weekend, so that may be why it took a little longer than usual to get your issue resolved there at Xanthor, and I do apologize for that. But we are working to get that done. Any advice for a new streamer? Well, don't pay attention to me. No, I'm kidding. Uh, Best advice for a new streamer is start small. And by that I mean stream and don't worry about building your audience. Especially like that very first stream, I wouldn't even announce it. I would basically consider it a dry run. Go live on the air, stream for an hour or two, and then after you're done, this is something a lot of people don't do, but after you're done, watch your entire archive. Take some notes. Look at your delivery. Look at the graphics. How do things look? How do things sound? Would you watch it? And kind of polish up your act a little bit. And then when you feel like, hey, this is my good side, then do the big, hey, I'm live on Twitch, on Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is you do, and then give it a shot. But a lot of times I see, people get very excited for that very first stream, but the reality of streaming is similar to other broadcasting where you're going to run in, or podcasting, where you're going to run into a host of technical issues you never even thought you'd have. And everything worked fine the day before, but when you actually try to go live, your audio doesn't work, you can't get the video working, whatever. So for that very first stream, I usually recommend that people just do it without a big audience. I know it's a little bit of a soft start then, but I think you'll find that not only does it take the pressure off of that first stream, so that when you do actually have your, quote, first real stream, you're a little more comfortable behind the mic and camera, but it also helps you work through these issues so that people's first exposure, they're excited too. Hey, there's someone new streaming, let me check them out. They're not sitting there watching you go through technical issues like I am today. When high elves get their passive racial traits, will they be applied to existing characters, or will we need to create new characters? If we are not you will not need to create a new character. The exact delivery method of how that's going to work is going to be up to the technical side of what we can do, but you should probably just have it applied to existing characters. Maybe there's going to be someone you have to talk to or something like that, but you won't have to create a new character to get those passive racial traits. No one is able to log into Brandywine right now. Ashikaru, I suppose a big question on a lot of people's minds is the issue with crafting, both the recipes that should exist but don't, crafts that don't have shadowed essence recipes, crit outputs that aren't showing upright, and crit outputs that seem underwhelming. For the ones that aren't showing upright, I remember seeing in the known issues that while they don't display correctly, they apply correctly. So nothing is actually from a, is it doing the power that it says it's doing? The answer is yes. We have a tooltip issue on that. So if that isn't fixed in our most recent patch, that will be soon. But my understanding is that's a display issue. In terms of recipes that should exist but don't, I'll have to look into that. Do we have specific recipes you saw on Bullroar that existed but now don't? Or are you talking about things that you feel need to exist? If it's the latter, then that's a good suggestion, and we'd be happy to hear about it. If it's the former, then that would probably be a bug and something I'd need to look further into. Alright, so people are saying that maybe we are in-game, okay. Alright. Cool. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Let's hope this works. Someone is saying that they're having a poor experience in Mordor. Overall, we're getting positive results that Mordor is not nearly as, say, laggy or whatever that people thought it would. We're actually seeing pretty good feedback on that. So if you're seeing a particularly laggy experience on Mordor, I apologize. And hopefully that's something we can take care of here in the relatively near future. But overall, we worked pretty hard to minimize some of the technical gotchas that we know exist. All right. How do I fix my XP bar? It shifted to the right, and I would like it back in the middle of the screen under the other hotbars. How can I move it back? It won't let me drag it over. Go into your user interface panel, your options panel. There's a checkbox to unlock your hotbars. There's some kind of key binding for that too, but specifically look to make sure, since I don't know what it's key bound to, you can check that in the, I think it's UI settings of the options menu, and see if that doesn't resolve your issue. Control backslash, someone says. Thank you. Alright, thank you for your reports. Yeah, the people inside the office just checked, and we are not having a specific login issue as well. I'm being metaphysical. Do I feel these should exist, or that did exist? Yeah, I hear ya. Nice. Have we considered making a drunken master class for dwarves and hobbits? So when I hear the word drunken master, I think Jackie Chan circa 1978, like drunken master martial arts style. Clearly that isn't something we would bring to LOTRO. Are double bonus points coming up soon? Soonish, maybe. Yeah, see, I just don't see the Tolkien license being compatible with a Drunken Master. Now, I should say, Drunken Master 1 and 2 are probably my two favorite martial arts movies of all time. So, I'm down for a Drunken Master. But I don't think that would make sense for Lord of the Rings Online. Vicordius, with a bunch of PvE hotfixes out of their way, is there a chance the next patch is going to include PvP-related changes? I do think we're going to take a further look at PvP stuff post-Mordor. We had, taken a lot of your feedback and incorporated a lot of that. We had originally planned to basically have no PvP work in Mordor, and then as you can see from the release notes, we did a bunch of PvP work in Mordor. But it sounds like there are some specific issues that we need to address. And so we're going to have to do that work in the hopefully relatively near future, but no promises as to the exact when. In terms of what we're working on 100% right now, it's the instance clusters. And that's something that we have got planned for probably our next significant patch post-Mordor. Am I wrong? I thought Elrond was in here. I remember looking at this one other time, not being able to find Elrond. Where am I going? Someone in chat help me. So, the instance cluster is going to be next, and then, oh, there we go, Elrond's library. And then after that, We are, well, the guy working on the raid is working on the raid. That would be Pinion. And is clearly busy doing that. But that's not going to be right away, because that's going to take a little bit of time. There you go, bud. Nice. Hey, Fienel.
Dark days are coming. Will you lend me your aid once more?
So I don't know that we're going to have a lot of time for additional PvP work, but we are aware of your specific issue. It's one of those things where I'm sorry, I don't mean to be flippant, but it's like, creeps are too strong, fix creeps. So we fix creeps, and then we hear, creeps are too strong, fix creeps. And it's kind of a never-ending cycle of never being able to do what we need to do. So. But we are aware that there is some specific damage work that needs to be done, so. I agree, Diffid. Finding Elrond should not be that hard. Yep. Wow, Cord is a noob. Yeah, I am. No one's denying that. Good to learn where he is, yeah, no doubt. Any information on when the instance cluster will come to Bullroar? Not specifically. It'll be one of those when it's done things. That said, it is next. So I would guess, sooner rather than later, right? I don't know if it's going to be within a couple weeks or maybe a little bit longer than that, but that's next. To be fair, I am one of those easily map-lost people, so as someone is stating in chat, I could be a veteran, like a DDO veteran, having played the game for 11 years, and still get frequently lost. Any information on when instance cluster come to PvP? Nope. Any information on when some class balance work will happen? I can talk a little bit about that. We have got it on our project. Basically, we had a meeting where we were kind of like putting together a hit list for the next, couple of months. And balance work is on that list. I think we're going to be working on some Bjorning bugs in the relatively near future. And due to me not wanting to get it wrong, I don't want to get more detailed than that, but we do have some class balance work that'll be ongoing for probably the next 6 months or so. Hey, answer. Freeps are mostly lazy. Is that true? Okay. You think the Freeps are going to agree with you on that one? Yeah. Will the black key drop rate be increased? Probably not. I don't know the answer, Kane Corin. Let me head over to YouTube quick. Are there any plans to change finesse to affect partial avoidance or give some more classes ways to deal with it? My understanding is that things had been, frankly, a little bit on the overly binary side, trending toward it always works, and now there is a little more variance in that. I don't know that we plan to go back to the days of it just always works, but I hear ya. That's a suggestion we've seen more of, and I know the team is aware of it. I don't know what their plans are for it. Meredith, I was actually going to get to that if this took longer to load, but we did update the event schedule, and I can actually maybe later on in the show go through that. We have the Summer Festival Encore, including the new stuff. That is, well, actually began, I guess, about 2.5 hours ago, and it runs through the 20th, being shut off on August 21st at 3 a.m. You're right that we don't have any more treasure events in the current schedule, but I know that we do have a few gaps yet to fill. So when it comes up to what should we do during those times, Meredith, and I know some other people have asked it as well, that's something we can consider. How can I get a high elf without purchasing an expansion bundle? You can wait until it's available a little bit later this year for LOTRO points. Is he looking at YouTube comments? Yes, right now. Can I do a live stream in Moria? Yes, when I get there. Are we going to be releasing a map of proposed projects for the year? We do have in the relatively near future a producer's letter coming. It's really just going to be kind of a general outline of what we have planned for the rest of the year, but I can tell you what that is. It's really the instance cluster, the raid, some festival work, and we're, turning our attention in the not too distant future straight ahead to update 22, which is going to be, can't say yet, but that'll be something that we can talk more about as we get closer to it. Oh god, make LOTRO open world PvP. Shut up, Fatso. Okay. Will the expansion itself be available to buy through LOTRO points in the near future? Yes. A little later this year. Or actually whatever we have in the facts, so winter. Yes, Hadurb points out a issue where in some instances in skirmishes from level 7 upwards, they're finding some chests and lootable bodies that don't have loot and just disappear. What I don't know is whether they are intended to have loot or whether they are improperly proccing really the chest. That's something our systems team's going to have to take a look at. Narcillus to be reforged? My heart would be filled with joy at this news, for Aragorn and for all of Middle-earth, if it were possible. Okay. There we go. Alright, go with that there. There we go. Ah, don't worry about it, man. So, I'm an old veteran. I'm a grizzled veteran of the forum wars. No, but on top of that, I used to be a DJ back in the day. And for those who aren't aware, there are a lot of DJs tend to be, even before the internet, DJs were the targets of trolls, real-life trolls. So I got some great advice from an old DJ veteran at the time. He was like, so when you go on the air, every time you talk, like 80% of the people are just going to flip the channel and not even listen to you. Of that remaining 20%, 50% will like you, and 50% will hate your guts, even though they've never met you. So, what do you do about it? You just don't let it get to you. You gotta have thick skin in order to do this kind of thing. Put yourself out there. And I got thick skin. That doesn't mean I want to be insulted, but that does mean when you insult me, I assure you, you are not having the effect you think. I literally do not give a you-know-what. I used to be a reporter, have to go to, police, detectives, politicians, criminals, trials, lawyers, people who did not want me to be there, yet I remained. So if I can handle that, I guarantee you a couple of anonymous people with stupid forum names ain't gonna bother me. So, there you go. Oh, thank you, Cole Cash. Some positive words about Mordor. Overall, clearly, it's a big thing. We have some things we have to deal with. But we've been getting some very positive comments about that as well. Okie doke. Any plans to reboot the Q&A area of the forums? Miss having the devs be able to reply to popular questions. So we do, if you look at our dev tracker, you'll see Maid of Lions and a whole bunch of people that have been doing stuff in recent days and weeks. So, I don't want to do that. So clearly we do answer questions on the forums. In terms of a dedicated dev chat, it's something we've been talking about. Back in the Sapiens days, they used to do like some Twitter Q&A stuff. I personally am not a huge fan of the Twitter version of Q&A. It's a little cumbersome and not really, I personally think, the best way to go about it. Oops. But that kind of Q&A, whether it be on a live Game World forums or Reddit or something like that, is something that we have talked about. I don't know when or if, what might happen. In terms of the Q&A on the forums, though, you know, we're going to continue to talk to people on the forums like we always do. Yeah, so LOTRO Ranger, my incompetence, it frankly has paid off in this respect, which is that, you know, I'm glad you're not. He says basically, I'm glad, or she. Sorry, I don't know your gender. Um, says that I, for one, am glad you're not doing Mordor stuff because I haven't seen it yet and I don't want it spoiled. You're right. While it's very cool to promote the new Mordor stuff, we are in a position where a whole bunch of people don't want it spoiled. So, and especially because I tend to do a lot of kind of Q&A,
Hope is not
it's
a
something I
villain.
am cognizant of.
Will you lend me your aid once more?
Yep, reforged Narsil, man. There you go.
Dark days are coming.
Okay. Will I ever be able to ride my hobby horse in the rest of the world? Um, I think that was a deliberate decision not to. Where am I going? That was a deliberate decision not to allow that because it is, you know, a little silly. How can I be lost in? I can't. Your community manager is lost in a freaking room. There we go. All right. You're right. I would get. Actually, I have been wrecked in Mortar. So while I have not done it on the stream yet, I was involved in some internal kind of play days and dev things and that. I did some testing on because they're like, well, can a noob use a blessing Aria of the Valar and actually do something in Mordor? And I don't know. Do we have a noob hanging around? Yes. So I went and created a high elf back in like June and all that sort of thing, and um, did the Aria of the Valar and what have you. So I have done some questing in Mordor, just not publicly and not on the stream. Oh, Larry Rihanna, how do I get in touch with me for an event support issue? In many ways, that's similar to getting in touch with me for just about any old thing, which is you can DM Lotro on Twitter. You can message Lotro on Facebook. You can direct message me on the forums. And depending on the need, we can go from there. I don't like to give out my email address publicly, just because I kind of have to keep my inbox under control. But depending on the need in that, we can discuss further. So just PM, DM, PM. What world am I on? I am on Landreval. Are the exclusive Alliance and Mordor pre-purchase cosmetics basically recolored raid instance armor? No, I don't think so. If they are, that's news to me. I know they put a lot of work into those. No, I hear you. Ending is like, rather than listening to PvMP players, why don't we just look at the numbers? We do that. And then we get told we're wrong by the PvMP players. But that's okay. That's okay. It's, just like any kind of system of DPS balance, you've got a large spectrum of players with various needs and wants and play styles and tactics and all the rest of that thing, different environments they're playing in. So it's rarely a one-size-fits-all solution. Instead, what you try to do is, if you think of kind of class balance, PvMP balance, and all that sort of thing as a bit of a cloud, right? You want to get everyone in that almost like word cloud. And when it strays outside, you try to shove it back into the same general area. But you're almost never going to reach a specific dot when it comes to damage balance and tactics balance and things like that. But you try to get everyone in the same general cluster. And where we have not done that, that's further work that we're going to need to do. Thank you, Meredith. Yep, we do have the new kind of summer cloaks and dresses and that sort of thing, cosmetics in this Summerfest Encore, and that was direct feedback from the community. Someone had said, "I like the look, but can we have it on a dress?" And our art team saw that and was like, "Yes, you should." All right.
Greetings. Greetings.
Man, they're just giving me gold for talking to them. I like this. Yep. Okay, looks like I'm getting on my horse and taking a ride. I could mention a couple other things, and that is that people who are high elves earned the Undying title, but did not get them due to the bug. We fixed that issue going forward this week, so new high elves will not run into it. But if it applies to you that you should have the title but did not, you do not have to. I mean, one solution is to remake a character, but another solution is you can get in touch with customer service, they'll take a look, and if applicable, they'll give you the titles. So you can get in touch with customer service to resolve that issue. Ideally, we were hoping we could just sort of have, kind of back compat that that title, but just due to technical reasons, we were not able to. So that's unfortunately the way we kind of have to deal with it. So.
What do you need?
Far to the west of the troll shovels, huh?
How can I be of service?
Is there a customer service phone number? No. We do not have the ability to support a live chat or phone number, so help.standingstonegames.com is the way to go. And someone's got a question that I'm trying to find. Raven Lager. Oh, sorry, I can't really answer that question. Because the words that we say can have sort of legally binding consequences, I can't really talk about that. I will have to look into the Loremaster Legacy that gives Burning Embers a higher crit chance. That is not giving an increase or a secondary bonus. I'll have to figure that one out. Oops. Evendom, that's where I'm going.
What can I do for you?
How do I get to... I need to get like the network of stuff to figure out where I can all get from everyone else. So I'm in Bree. I need to get to Evendom. Can I get there from the Shire?
What can I do for you?
Arid one, is there a way to track down and report bugs, or should people just keep reporting and that pushes a certain bug up on the list? Frequency of bug reports does matter, but it is only one factor involved. But yes, the best way to submit a bug is when you come across it is to submit that. It's always helpful to get more than one bug report. It's a lot easier, frankly, to say, well, it's just a duplicate, than it is to try to find, say, not get it to begin with. The other thing is that there may be some questions from the last bug report that you can answer based on your experience. Like, for example, is this only a Runekeeper thing? Well, nope, because this also got reported by a Guardian. You know, something like that. So having multiple bug reports is always helpful. When I say I'm going to look into something or get back to someone, how do you typically do that? So you're right that I get asked an awful lot of questions, and I cannot ever completely get it for everybody. But what I do is when the stream's done, and I'm looking at the chat later, or if I remember it in my head, I will go to the devs and say, hey, on the stream today they asked about, what do you know? And if they know, they'll give me an answer. If I can, I'll save it for the next time that question is asked. If I can, I will post about it, say on the forums or some other outlet. But you have to realize a lot of it ends up being suggestions. Or I'll ask about it, and, you know, we just don't really have a good, clear answer at this point, so I can't really answer it. Hadur, why is the bug report an external thing now and not in-game? It's because we're using a new system that is not hooked up in-game. We're using Zendesk rather than JBug? Someone is suggesting more high elf combat animations. That's something that we'll have to look into. There you go.
How can I be of service? What do you need?
Okay, let me do your stuff.
What do you need?
I will have to look into that exogenesis. I could have sworn I saw a full barrel roll on the high elves, but if that's incorrect, then clearly you're right. That's something we're going to have to look into and fix.
Stay a moment.
I don't stress very much. I think if there's one thing people know about me, it takes a lot to stress me
I'll
out.
speak with you a moment.
So,
Might I take a moment of your time?
ta-dum-dum. Do a barrel roll. Yeah, how do I do a barrel roll? Oh, I gotta jump off someplace highish. Ah. Well, I'll have to find a better way to do a barrel roll. See if I can find a good tall height. Oh, ZR twice? Okay, well clearly that's not my thing. Why do we hide a new dance behind the High Elves? Well, they just wanted their own dance, right? That's pretty typical. Will there be more dances available to the rest of us non-elves? I don't know that we have any plans to expand our available dances, but it's always cool to do when we can. Dwarves can't jump. Yeah, right. What is the status of a 64-bit client? It is currently continuing to be worked on. It's, you know, going to be one of those things where I really don't have much to say until it's pretty close to being done. And when it's pretty close to being done, we'll clearly let you know. But we do have an employee who, basically a contract engineer, whose specific job it is to work on the 64-bit client. Geez, I'm actually kind of running low on time here. Sorry it took me so long to get going today. Do I happen to see about converting Third Age allies to Ash and Mordor Evil Twin? Yes, I did. The main issue with that is one of acquisition rate. I know it's not something that people want to hear, but, you know, if you're already sitting on thousands of a thing, and you're saying, well, can I turn that into Ash so I can get all the Mordor stuff right now, then that isn't really desirable gameplay from a development perspective. We want you to work to get your stuff. I appreciate you may have a lot of Third Age allies that are just kind of filling up your trash barrels or whatever, but to then say, well, because you've got thousands of a thing, can I just turn it in to get all the gear I want instead? Even if we did, say, on this case, a 1 to 1/10 ratio on the Ash, if people are really sitting on thousands, and all indications are that some people are, we just couldn't use that for a conversion system for new loot. There's also a bit of a precedent thing where we want the Ash of Gorgoroth and the Ash system, were we to bring that to other areas, to be specific to the gear in that area. So while you might be getting some of that Third Age ally stuff in Mordor, it isn't really intended to be Mordor-specific loot. And we want you to turn in your unwanted Mordor loot for Ashes of Gorgoroth.
Will you hear my sorrows? Could I speak with you a moment?
We're going to drop support for 32-bit. No. I think the intention would be to maintain both.
Might I take a moment of your time?
And have it be basically seamless on your end. What about turning off the allies in Mordor? We could. I mean, we could just say, fine, you don't get stuff. You don't get any of that stuff. But not everybody's in that position. Some people are like, I actually don't mind that stuff. I mean, I think you raise a really good point. Should we even be having Eastment items dropping in Mordor? I don't know. What about instances in Mordor? Do we plan to release them? Yes. That should be next. Third Ages are still current as they are level 100 allies. Nobody wants them, but current. What about the Earlingus recipes from 2 tiers ago or even more? Yeah, that's the same basic idea, is that, you know, and it's the same way sometimes in any game where they debut, say, a new crafting system with a new ingredient, and people are like, come on, I'm sitting on thousands of this old ingredient. How come I have to get a new ingredient to do the thing? That's deliberate, because they want you to actually engage with a system rather than just sort of use your, stockpiled stuff that you've been storing away forever to just bypass the gameplay there, right? I know it's not always what people want to hear, but that is the reality of game development. I don't know. Stephen Watson says, is Chance Thomas and Taylor Davis teaming up again? That's news to me. I haven't heard anything about that. I don't know. I would say someone is like, oh, you only have one person working on the 64-bit client? No. We have one person whose job is dedicated to that. That doesn't mean only one person is working on a thing. No Winter the Arctic Fox. If you want the High Elf today, you do need to purchase a bundle of Mordor. It'll be available. If you look at the FAQ, you'll see information about when the High Elf will be available for LOTRO points, and it gives a cost for that as well. And you can find the FAQ on LOTRO.com. Are we getting Elf Heralds for High Elf Captains? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. It's a good question, though. Sorry, Evo Marine. We don't discuss our current team size. That's business intelligence that is unwise to say publicly. Alright, before I wrap it up then, let me do just a couple of things here. I did want to post up the event schedule, so let me quick go through that. So as you can see, the Summer Festival Encore runs through the 20th, being turned off 3 a.m. on the 21st. Then we go straight from the Summer Festival Encore into the Farmers Fair, which will take us through basically Labor Day. That Labor Day week, is it Labor Day weekend? Anyway, the end of August to September 3rd is Hobnanigans. And then Tale of the Shipwrecked Mariner. As you see, it looks like we do have a 1 week gap here in early September we'll have to look into. Bilbo's Birthday, Hobnanigans. The Fall Festival is set for October 10th through November 1st. And then Yule Festival is basically mid-December until the very start of 2018. And we do have a few more things, as you can see, a few weeks that are missing from this event schedule. So we'll have more information on that. And then I wanted to real quick go over the release notes for yesterday's patch as well. See if we have any questions about that. Come on, work. There we go. All right. We did change a few classes to have their skills lowered to be available at the right time. Doomfold Scholar Guild recipes can no longer be crafted using ingredient packs. Sorry. It was too much. Aria of the Valar packages will go into overflow if your inventory is full when granted. If you ran into an issue where you didn't get your Aria of the Valar and you are expecting one, please do get in touch with account support through help.standingstonegames.com. They'll take care of you. We also debuted our Gorgoroth resource instance, the Burning Mountain. Fixed a whole bunch of areas, kind of large and small, with Mordor quests here. I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but we got a lot of feedback about, hey, it's hard to see here, the lava's killing me, what have you, and so we've made a whole bunch of kind of minor tweaks to that. Fix an issue with the Battle Under the Trees session play and the Elf Allegiance. Fix a issue that was causing confusion in the Quest 3 proofs. Corrected some NPCs in Dora Marth that were causing people problems. Again, now High Elves can get Undying if you think we couldn't make it retroactive, so if that's you, please get in touch with customer support and they'll get you sorted out. We fixed an issue with the Elf and High Elf and displaying improperly in the Barbershop UI. Also fixed a light and shadow effect issue displaying in the Scaled Vitals UI. Moved the Allegiance progress tracker slightly so it wouldn't overlap other UI elements or cause problems there. We fixed an issue where some of the videos were not playing in localized clients. High Elves can now use like quest-related mounts in particular. This addresses feedback where High Elves were not able to get the riding skill thing from Hegstacer Farm. We do still have a few things we're working on. One of the things that'll be fixed in the hopefully near future is the burglar skill exploit opening, not triggering a fellowship maneuver. The tooltip issue, as stated earlier in the show today, about Doomfold crafting items. They're showing the normal versus critical results, but the items are still creating properly. We are going to be giving High Elves their passive racial traits and do some more avatar polish here in the relatively near future. Alright, I think that is going to wrap it up then with Court of the Rings. For this week, here on twitch.tv/LOTROstream, YouTube, and Facebook, programming note. I am not here next week. That doesn't mean you can troll on the forums. I am always watching, like the Eye of Sauron. I have a cell phone. You can never escape me. No, but anyway, I'm at Gen Con next week. I'm going to Indianapolis for the big 50th gaming convention of Gen Con. We have a Friday night gathering, player meetup for DDO and LOTRO. It's always, for about 10 years now, it's been a DDO thing. We call it the Friday night gathering for buffs. It's at the Omni Severin Hotel bar. So yeah, you do got to be of adult drinking age. But if you want to hang out and you're a LOTRO player, please stop by. Usually starts after the exhibit hall closes on that Friday night. Some people go get dinner there, some people get dinner elsewhere and then come in later. So it's a bit of a rolling start, usually starting kind of mid-evening, Friday evening, and often goes to the wee hours of the morning. And we would love to see you there. I'm going to be bringing some swag with me to Gen Con. If you are a LOTRO player and you are attending Gen Con, look for me. I'm the guy who looks like he plays D&D. There's a few of me there. No, but get in touch with me. Again, you can just get in touch with us, Twitter, Facebook, social media, the forums, what have you. I'd be happy to try to swing by and get you some swag if I can. It is what I can carry. I can carry a lot, but I can't carry everything. So some of the swag's going to be limited, but I am going to make sure I have both DDO and LOTRO stuff. So if you're going to Gen Con, please get in touch with me. And if you don't know what Gen Con is, look it up. So no show next week. Also no Beacon next week. And am I doing Gen Con D&D cosplay? No, this guy doesn't cosplay. I'm not opposed to it. Cosplay's cool, but I just have never wanted to spend the time to do it. So. No, Ashikaru Larietta. I will not come dressed as Sarah Oakheart. Hell no. That would be hilarious. Don't turn on your cell phone while on holidays. No, unfortunately, one of the things signing up for this wonderful job, I love what I do. It's an honor and a privilege, and I do respect that I'm in a position of privilege that many people would love to have. But what it means is you're never offline. You've always got to be in communication. You got to be able to respond in a heartbeat. You got to have your cell phone. Yep, when you're drinking your coffee on Saturday, you're not reading the newspaper, you're reading the forums and dealing with moderation and stuff. That happens. But it's an easy negative part of the job. So there you go. Okay, I guess that's going to be... Nuno and some other people are saying, are we going to lower the price of other expansions? We have no plans to do that. Sorry. And do I have time for one more? Can I carry a tune? No. All right, thank you for watching. I will see you in 2 weeks here on Court of the Rings. We do have streamers 24/7, pretty much here on LOTRO Streams, so check out the Twitch page, join other LOTRO streamers, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Have fun.